Hello, hello and welcome. Get out of here, Pedro. You're bloody good at music, man. How's everyone? I'm still recovering from BritizenCon. Mainly, sort of like it takes me out of my schedule a bit. I hate traveling. Well, actually, I don't mind traveling. It's the terrible anxiety I feel from not putting videos out, from thinking the plane's going to crash, from thinking, I don't know, there's weird shit. There's weird shit that goes on in my head. And I apologise for that. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. Feel weird for it. Yeah, I went to BritizenCon. It was an amazingly good time. I'll talk about some of the general BritizenCon-y type things, and we'll look through some photos, and we'll sort of like chat about that. We'll chat a bit about CitizenCon, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the UK. In fact, a couple of devs were sort of like looked at me oddly when I just asked them, and they're like, "Of course you know it's going to be in the UK," sort of thing. And I suspect it's going to be in Manchester, but that's not confirmed yet. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to CitizenCon now. BritizenCon's a lot smaller than you'd think. There's a huge amount of devs there. I think there were like 50 plus devs throughout the day, just sort of like hanging around. But fan event wise, I think there was like maybe 100 fiddly peeps like me, just tossing around, maybe a few more. I haven't actually got all the numbers from Chris Franklin, who runs the event, but I very much enjoy BritizenCon. It's great fun. Get to ask lots of devs, lots of different questions. I just put a video out about the dev panel summary stuff, looking at like UIs and environmental stuff and missions. So some of that's some pretty good information. I asked a variety of questions of other devs. I will look through thank you very much, Delamars. I love your face. He's jumped out safe. What a question. It's a lot safer than it used to be. You're pretty safe if the server's super populated as well. Because beyond getting 45 people in a server now, servers seem to crumple. I've realised that if you watch my videos and stuff, I record most of my footage during the day. So between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. UTC. There's very few people on then, and so typically I won't be in a full server, so I have really high frame rates, so I don't really have any problems. But I was watching some people saying, "Oh my god, the servers are terrible." I was thinking, no, they're not. But it's when you're in servers with 45 plus cap, the servers just degrade and they go blah. It seems they really are stretching the limits of the server with 3.5 in the extended gameplay area, and there are issues, and we need further server optimization and server meshing and stuff like that, or at least I'm starting to raise some of those optimizations towards server meshing now. It's integral. I know they're working on them. I'm just saying. If anyone wants to ask a question about BritizenCon, Star Citizen, about myself, I'm an interesting individual. I'm the thinking man's potato. There are some questions, just put a question in brackets in front of anything, and then bam, I'll be able to pick it out from the thing, and I'll go through them in a second. But then I do want to go through some of the BritizenCon photos and talk about the event itself, be slightly critical of some of the things that I think could have been done better, that sort of stuff as well. But it was overall an amazing time. Got to drink throughout the day and the evening, chat to lots of people. Had Brian Chambers singing at me at one point. A hen party were trying to take his shirt off him at one point because they wanted to see his tattoo, because he's got the tattoo of a Viking ship done by a famous French tattoo artist. It was a weird evening. It was a weird evening. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to Inside Star Citizen this week. I'm actually very much looking forward to that show. I'm hoping they do another Calling All Devs type thing soon. I'm interested to see how Star Citizen Live, which is basically Reverse the Verse, is evolving as well. So we'll see if that's any good this week. I liked last week's because they played through some of the stuff, and I don't mind too much gameplay as long as they are answering questions and talking about stuff that's relevant to the game at the same time, and they did. And there was some interesting information there. We're just about to join the verse when your payday arrives, Robert Dodge. Good for you. Remember, Star Citizen is very alpha, and don't spend all your money on ships. Just get starter packages, enjoy the game. Bam! I'm talking like I'm your financial dad, finance dad. Get a Mustang starter package, Ash. Good man. And the clear upgrade is the Avenger Titan if you ever do want to upgrade. Yes. You like KWO311? KW, I want a better way of... I'll just call you KW, actually, or KWO. Ash, I love you. KW, I love you. There's lots of other people here. Neo, I love you. It was very good to meet you, sir. I'll show you some of your pictures off. I'll show them off now, actually. I saw you put a little montage out. There was a cool little montage that Neo, this beautiful gentleman, put out after BritizenCon. My lovely, slightly confused face there. Very, very nice, smiley, lovely person. And thank you very much for translating a load of my videos into Spanish. It is genuinely appreciated. We'll have to meet up again soon and go for some drinks and have a chat. Yeah, it was a great little event. Got some famous peoples. We got some little buggies. We got Ulf. We got Noodle and Cals. Luke Presley. Brian Chambers. Timosh. Derek Senior. Maya and Noodle photobombing. Cameron. This is Captain Zaps, isn't it? This is Captain Zaps. I don't want to get the wrong people confused with the wrong people in my head. They had some cool panels. We got some guy and another guy, Miss and Ryan. Yeah, and they were hosting. So Maya was the master of ceremonies and asking questions.
Tricksy little
on the podium and directly into people's souls. And we had Miz and Ryan running a stream throughout the day, which is absolutely fantastic. Although there was loads of technical problems, they powered through, and the second half of BritizenCon was done pretty well. The coverage of the sort of like combat event, I think, went well. I didn't actually watch most of that. I was socializing and watching the panels mostly. The Pulsar 42, so a load of the French community were there running a stream as well. And we've been talking about potentially seeing if there's a way of getting lots of different community stuff together for a single larger sort of like BritizenCon-esque event. Because BritizenCon attracts a load of devs, easy for them to get to, but not as many tangible actual fans as like you do a French event or a German event. They sell 400 tickets in sort of like a couple of weeks because their communities are a lot more concentrated, it seems, and they're more willing to travel. And in the UK, we're just lazy, just a lot lazier. Look, a good like quarter to a third of the people that turned up as well were not UK residents, which was interesting to me as well. But I'll get a full sort of like what are they called? Post-mortem of the event at some point, and we'll see. And there was a raffle and stuff. I'm hoping that we maybe next time have an auction, get some cool little auctionable prizes, maybe from different sponsors and that sort of thing. That might make the event a little bit more sort of like profitable for the guys that were next. They were like $3,500 down at one point during the day, although I think that got a bit better towards the end of the day. But yeah, very, very cool pictures. We had some other cool ones of the guys that were being interviewed. Oh, so JR Fabrication made these cool little Wing Commander machines. Brian there, drinking while playing. Good man, don't drink and fly. What else do we have? JR Fabrication stall there. They're making some licensed model kits. Look very cool. They got buggies, which they've now got boxed, and they've got them on pre-sale. Oh, we had a gentleman, I can't remember his name, who made the Xi'an font better. Believe he works for CIG now. Made it simpler to write, and he was doing people's names and phrases and stuff, doing a little workshop and showing people and painting their names for them, which was awesome. I wish I'd got mine done, but I was literally running around chatting to people. I got Mickey here. There was who else was around? I've actually been using my camera go through them like this. So that's the Republic of L'Oreal, I think that they're called. So like light role player org, very friendly people. No one's sort of like excluded. Oh, Black Knight 78, thank you very much. And Jaden Catterall for the resub. I love your face. Black Knight 78. I also love your potential face with the huge amount of bits and cheer. Mwah. Legend, thank you. Had the little competition load of computers set up to play some dogfighting. A lot of people were watching that towards the end. Stream set up they had. Senior and Brian on the main stage. By that. Did people's back of their heads. One of the buggies that just been assembled. The Grey Cat buggies they're selling. One assembling a Grey Cat buggy. Different words then. A painted one. I believe the painting was done by Ms. or Noodle in that situation. JL Fabrication, they are selling those. Grey Cat. Got no affiliation with them beyond that they're my friends. But check the website out. They do cool little Star Citizen props as well. They do computer cases, which are the cargo crates, and they also make them into mini fridges. I might get a mini fridge at some point, or a computer case at some point. I want to build a Star Citizen rig at some point. Probably when Squadron 42 comes out. Maybe that's a better shout, rather than trying to build a rig for a game that's an alpha. Maybe build a rig for Squadron 42 when it's released, which can also be used for Star Citizen. You know, and other things. And a fridge for beer. Yeah, so check those out. Oh, something I'm very much excited about. Maybe not 100% Star Citizen related. The Valve Index. Oh, I think it goes on sale, pre-sale tomorrow, potentially. 1st of May. Oh, this is VR that I want. Phoneworks looks very, very exciting as well, which basically in my head is Half-Life 3 VR. But yeah, right. Let us. Anything else that I want to show? BritizenCon. I think it's pretty cool. Talk about the event. Talk about what happened through it. Let's have a look at some questions first, though. Chat. First we got. What do you think will be shown next for Squadron 42 sitcom reveal? Probably some more actors. They've been working on a broader vertical slice. We saw that in the latest monthly report. So I suspect that will be a vertical slice or section of gameplay that we'll see for Squadron 42, potentially at BritizenCon. Was BritizenCon as depressing as it looked like in photos? I really enjoyed BritizenCon. I thought it was great. I'm not sure if that's a troll or more of a maybe the photos did look like people were depressed in them. It was a good damn laugh. The plane crashing does cross everyone's mind. Well, maybe it does, but mine it will go around in my head for like ever. I almost didn't go. Like the day before, I couldn't sleep. I was like, I'm just not gonna go. I said to Cameron, I was like, mate, I've got a migraine. I'm just a bit anxious. He's like, yeah, try and come down if you can, man. And when he says stuff like that, I go, oh, I fucking better make an effort. He's not telling me. He's not telling me, nah, it doesn't matter. He's saying, oh, it'd be good if you did come down. Any news about the character yet? We haven't heard anything for a long time now. We know they're working on it. I mean, what was the last you heard for it? It's 3.8 at the moment. We've got the character planned for. Yes, planned for 3.8. We know they've been working on it. We've got some good external shots of it, and they've been working on the internals and stuff. 8 of 57 tasks currently complete, so not many complete. Good slip, but I suspect it will make it this year. It's a very, very, very wanted ship. Yeah, I very much prefer the Mustang Alpha over the Aurora MR. Well, it'll be gone for now. New anime episodes just popped out. Waifu Live. What? One Punch Man comes out today, doesn't it? Next episode. I do love my One Punch Man. How's your dad doing? How are you doing? Yeah, he's pretty good. I've had sort of like crippling anxiety for the last 5 or 6 days, unfortunately. It does get better. Today has been a good day compared to previous days. I just sort of can't deal with certain things, things that are out of my control, and it can be like worries about all of my moles being cancerous. but more of it at the moment is sort of like complex. But my dad's doing a lot better. His hair's gone a bit funny because he had the sort of like first course of chemo and then decided he didn't want to have chemo because it was horrible. His hair's gone a bit funny, so like some of it fell out and now it's like straight like a toilet brush. But he's doing a load better and hopefully he'll never have a problem with cancer, but it can come back. It might. But we'll deal with that when the time happens. You never know what's going to happen in life, and we've at least bought a good few years. So probably will be answered, but did they talk 3.5 at BritizenCon at all? Well, to an extent. They mentioned lots of stuff that was relevant to 3.5. Obviously, that they're the limit of their servers with 3.5 beyond a certain amount of people, and there's server problems. They're trying to resolve those sort of things. A lot of stuff was beyond that. But they sort of like the missions they've got at the moment, for example, Luke doesn't really classify them as missions because they're too simplistic. And they want the full dynamic mission system. They want loads of these mission modules. They want missions to have multiple objectives and not be, I know exactly what's going to happen throughout this mission. Do we know that a defo on the loner Aurora with the Mustang, as I've been able... Did they talk about the 890 jump? They didn't talk about the 890 jump at BritizenCon. We know that it's coming in 3.6, so end of June. It's something that a lot of people are very much waiting for. There's a good amount of progress on it as well, so I don't think it would slip in any way, shape or form. Do we have a deadline for server meshing? No. And server-side object container streaming, the networking actor refactors, both client-side and server side, lots of different stuff are all prerequisites of getting server meshing done, but they can release that stuff before server meshing. So we will see a series of optimizations that will lead to server meshing eventually that will all come online in various patches from 3.6 to 3.9. And the earliest you could possibly see server meshing, in my opinion, is 3.8 end of December if they really fucking push for it, but much more likely middle of next year would be my expectation. I have not done any scramble racing at all in 3.5, I don't think. I will check, Ted, to see if it's changed at all. On me. I will check. I'm allergic to my own bullshit, it turns out. Will you need real people to pilot large capital ships, or will there be AI to do so? We know that they are working on AI that you can hire as crew. There will be needed to be some input from the team leader or whatever to tell people where to go, but you should be able to have AI pilots and NPC pilots that will go where you tell them to. So you'd have like a map and you could have some sort of command and control on those large ships. We don't know exactly what form that will take yet because we don't have it in game, but we know that that's the plan. When do you think the economy will persist? That's a good question. That's effectively when there's going to be no more resets. A lot more economy features are coming in 3.8, in 3.6 to 3.9. So we're getting like the black markets. We're getting lots of different ways of seeing sort of like data and being able to transfer commodities and stuff. So we're going to have commodity timers, so like transferring boxes on and off ship. There's going to be accounting apps. There's a lot of it. This is in 3.9. Black markets in 3.6 and some of the other dynamic systems. But in 3.9, dynamic mission system, sort of like economy stuff is getting additions to it. Commodity transfer timers, accounting app, economy display terminals, lots of ways to do things with money and commodities, I believe, as well. 3.8, we're getting the economy generated missions for the dynamic mission system. So that's going to be lots more missions and stuff like that based on the economy and its needs in the area and based on what other missions have been done and things like that and what commodities are trading. But when are we going to not have any more resets? It's probably after we've got the first implementation of server meshing is probably when they'd consider no more resets. That could be as early as next year. They want full persistence indefinitely and stuff like that. and there should be, like, I say no more resets. It'll be less resets. They'll still reset for when they need to update databases and things like that, but it won't be every 3 months. It might be once a year, or it might be once as and when they need to. On a scale of 1 to 10, how refined is 3.5 at the moment? I mean, that's a really odd question for me, because if I was trying to say, is Star Citizen a game? How refined, how close to being a live game is it? A 2. How good is it compared to other previous patches? An 8. How good is it when it's got 45 people plus in a server? Well, it kind of collapses in on itself. So more of a 5. There's a range there. A very open question. What's your idea on the new Arc mining refineries outposts and what CIG can do with it? Well, they're building lots of stations and that sort of stuff. Points of interest in the verse. In the first iterations of mining outposts and cargo stations and things like that, they're just going to be other places to buy and sell commodities, whether they're in space, whether they're on the ground. It's going to be pretty simple. Good evening, sir. How would you compare this year's BritizenCon to previous ones? Yeah, it was pretty good. The guy that runs it properly, Chris, who's very stressed throughout, trying to calm him down because he thinks that everything is his fault or everything is his responsibility, and it was going pretty well. There was problems with the stream. It was the issue mainly. So the first half of the panels and stuff, there was audio issues, there were streaming issues and that sort of stuff. And there always seems to be. I think that they'll consider looking at trying to get it sorted out entirely by streamers or professionals or something in the future. But fun-wise, it was amazingly good fun. So I'll go through a quick breakdown of what happened. I got there at about 11:30. It was at the Science and Industry Museum, which is a lovely venue. But it was on the second floor, so go up 2 floors. So in the UK, it's ground floor, first floor, second floor, and in the US, that would be floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, because you're monsters, or we're monsters, one or the other. So it was up some stairs. You could get an elevator up there, but it was that was a bit of a, for the lazier citizens, that was a bit of a hike. The venue is very nice. There was a little mini bar up there as well, so there was alcohol available, which was great. There was stalls for special effect, which make bespoke peripherals for people that are disabled, typically children. They are absolutely fantastic for the gaming community and for disabled people, legends, very, very nice people as well. Then we had JR Fabrications stall, who was making the little licensed Star Citizen flare buggies and stuff like that. Hopefully they're going to get more ships and things like that to be able to make in the future, but they also do the installations for places like for events like BritizenCon, and they make tables and things like that. Very good people there as well. Then we had the competition computers on one side, and on the other side we had lots of streamers, and then it was just me socializing for most of the event. Had some cool panels, got to ask some questions. Lots of people coming up to me. The most common question I got asked was, do you know who I am? Most people. I was like, a lot of people would like, I know your voice, or no, because a lot of people sort of like, it's a weird thing, and it's sort of like, you sort of assume someone knows you better than you do because you watch them all the time. Some people I'd never met before or heard their voice or seen their faces. A couple of people I recognised them by posts I'd seen on like their Facebook profiles. Lots of people I recognised their voice, because obviously I spent a lot of time on Mumble and Discord and stuff. So I was like, I know your voice. He's like, do you know who I am? I know your voice. I have no idea who you are. It's like, oh yeah, you would know my voice. This guy, whatever. But yeah, it was a great event for that. There were so many devs everywhere. Some of which were you saw on the panels, but there are loads and loads of other devs, and they came to the pub Lock 91 afterwards. So there was a load of devs there, a load of Star Citizen fans there. I got to ask a lot more questions. I'm not sure what's appropriate to put on my channel at the moment. I'm just going to email them across the answers to some of the questions I got, just to make sure that nothing's NDA'd, nothing was told to me when someone was just drunk, you know what I mean, and they'd get in trouble. So there was lots of other stuff answered, which I will talk about potentially in the future. I'll get that answered very quickly though, so don't be like, oh, tell us. I'll get it done as quick as I can. Yeah. But yeah, the event itself was great. It was a great little Star Citizen fan fest. I was merrily drunk throughout the day and got to chat to a lot of people. Just by the little bar area, there was the Republic of L'Oreal. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Very good people. There's a couple of girls there that do like cosplay. Were chatting to me a long time about female communities in games and stuff like that. And they were like, no, we're not pro exclusionary groups just for women. We want everyone to play together. And I was like, oh, this is fucking fantastic shit to hear. I can win. I'm very anti-exclusion, but I'm not a massive fan of forced inclusion, or people being like, feel like they have to join certain groups to be represented or stuff like that. So I'm not a massive fan of that in games. So it was very refreshing to hear, and I had a great time. It was a load of nice people there. Do they talk about any ships at BritizenCon? Nothing during the event. I talked to some people about some stuff afterwards. Hey Bored, do you think Arc Court demo they showed? Do you think the Arc Court demo they showed is their goal, or isn't it? I'm going to look anything like that in the future. That's actually something I talked about, one of the environmental artists. So that was a faked, sort of like, well, it wasn't entirely faked, but it was sort of like the texture of what they intended it to look like when you zoomed out, to sort of like, but it wasn't particularly dynamic. It wouldn't have changed as you moved around properly. It was sort of like very static. It looked great, but what we have now is real, and having that real thing that we have for 3.5 and ArcCorp is much better technically, as like an achievement. I think they want to make it look great from further out. So expect it to change in the future. Expect it to potentially work towards something that looks a bit better like we had originally, but that was effectively a more staticky, more faked way of doing it. But so narcotics running in 3.5 was badly nerfed. They added a load of new places to do it though. I mean, a lot of the time it's just worth testing stuff out and messing around in Star Citizen. Missions now will make you a load of money. When's the next concept sale? Well, I thought it was going to be last week, but we're suspecting it's going to be a Tumbrel Land Systems vehicle of some description. Could be this week, could be a little bit further in the future. If it's this week, it'll be on Thursday on pre-sale. But I think within the next couple of weeks, we will have that next concept vehicle. Don't know exactly what it's going to be. Could be a utility vehicle, could be a military like APC or a light tank, could be a HOV vehicle. Question, can we get Star Citizen to put a new poll on what we think is more important for the next update? Server meshing needs to come to the forefront. Jeff Hardy, it is being, the people that can work on server meshing are working on server meshing and associated prerequisites of that. So server-side object container streaming, the various 3 factors, all that sort of stuff. It is a major priority for CIG. Do we have any idea when some hotfixes will be released? Well, at the moment they're doing some server maintenance, so hopefully they'll get the servers in a bit of a better state, and some hotfixes at the same time potentially. Specifically, the issue with falling through the surface of Lyria when doing Twitch's mission. I haven't had that problem, oddly, but I know a lot of other people have. So hopefully some hotfixes today. Did we learn any new information about the Star Citizen Desert event? I've done a video on it. Should be up now. About the panels, dev panels. So Robert Dodge, I'm not sure if the Aurora is still offered as a loaner with the Mustang starter. Let me have a look at the loaner matrix for you. Here's the loaner matrix. You can go check out. It changes all the time. This literally tells you what ships, where, how, when. We get you for loaners. Oh my god, Ted. When are they going to fix the bug that your ship gets stored at outposts within about 1 minute? It is so annoying. They just need to turn that off. Make half an hour or something stupid. Yeah? It's really annoying. I think it's an oversight rather than a bug. Do you see what I mean? Was third-party or first-party integration discussed, such as having official or officially sponsored app for having a screen on a tablet? Also, how are you? I talk to a lot of people about apps and stuff. I talked to a gentleman who's made a very cool sort of like Star Citizen tracker and trade program, which tells you the best routes to go to get stuff based on your ship and where you are and where you're traveling to in the verse. It's very, very clever. Well, actually, it's very, very just sort of like well filtered information. But I'll talk about that in the future. The Game Glass is the closest one I've seen to being anything official. It's not obviously not official, but it's going to be long term supported. And I've been talking about the Game Glass guys. I'm going to really try that out next week and see the differences between the free model and the subscription model, because I think if you can do everything on the free one, but you get some cool stuff with the subscription one as well, then they can really support Star Citizen with that, because that means anyone can use it for free if they want to. Bam. If you want some extra functionality as well, you can subscribe to it, and that means they've got the funding to be able to constantly improve it, and I think that would be a good thing. But I'll look at that and talk about it more very soon. But there's no official plans for an official Star Citizen CIG made tablet system so that you can have MFDs on them, as far as I'm aware. In regards to the licensed model kits that JR Fabrication makes, I know it takes a long time for them to get licensing from CIG about any individual product, and they're working on it for lots of different things. They're obviously very high quality 3D printed and into the proper little kits, and they're cool little collectibles. They're still trying to work out exactly what they want to do with them and the correct scale and size of them. At the moment, it's just the grey cats available, but hopefully we will see a large range of high quality, genuinely cool collectible ships and models. Those JR guys are going to do a poll for the next Star Citizen ship that they're going to model. 300i, anyone? 300i is a good choice. Suppose something like a Hornet, Avenger, Titan, Mustang, Aurora. There's loads. You want some of the more simple ships, more common ships first, I think. I think that would be pretty popular. Ships that are in game as well. Morning board, do you know when the rest of the 300s are going to be released? So they're planning to release the 300 series variants in this branch of Star Citizen, so in 3.5 at some point. That could be this week, that could be next month. And that will also have some form of customization on the website for those ships when you buy them. So you can buy them with more monies, you can customize them. We're not sure what customization it's going to be. It's expected to be colors changes and stuff like that, potentially loadouts changes, weapons and systems, and even maybe interiors changes as well, but we'll have to wait and see. I know Valve Index A. Do you know when all ship weapons will be available? Oh, Philip Jordan, thank you very much for the super chat donation. I'm 10 minutes behind. I'm the worst. Love your face. Mwah. Legend. I appreciate that a lot, actually, especially at the moment. Is your motherboard? What? They added an interior light switch to the Cutlass yet. They were talking about interior light switches. Isn't it something they can do? I'm not sure if that's something we will see in the very near future, though. I heard a rumour that the UK will play host to a certain convention in October. Can you confirm this? So, still around my house naked in excitement. Craig Holmes, I believe that BritizenCon is going to be in the UK this year. I would expect it to be in Manchester, or that's definitely not confirmed, because it might not be. I'd assume it would be. I did say to someone, sort of like, doing a BritizenCon is in October, and they were very, very sort of like cagey about that, even. So maybe it's not in October. Maybe it's late October this year, or maybe it's in November, something like that. But I don't know. So I would expect it around October time, and I would, I suppose that's the holiday. It was October 10th last year, I think, my mother's birthday. Like would you like more buttons and switches to control ships, or are you for more simpler cockpit layout? I'm actually for both simultaneously. I like being able to do silly things and being able to very diegetically, very sort of like tactilely click all the switches that I want, especially with functions I don't normally use. But I also want hotkeys to be able to do some things quickly because I don't want to be fucking around trying to eject. And I've forgotten where the tag is for eject when I need to eject. So kind of want both. What's the deal with the 315p rework? I remember there's something special about it. So it's got like a little living area, I believe is the idea. It's good for exploration. So all the 300 series have now got, potentially have now got living areas, actually thinking about it. Supposed to be long range exploration ship. For its size and class anyway. What fighters do you think will fit in the Carrack? Snubs. Beyond that, don't know. Maybe the Arrow, based on how big the door is. Purpose built for the Pisces, but you probably could see a P50 or P72 in there. Maybe an Arrow. And is the Banu Merchantman releasing? We don't know. It's not in the roadmap. They haven't got the Banu Defender out yet. Banu Defender comes out in 3.6. We'll know have a little bit of a better idea. After that's released, the Defender will be the gold standard for the Banu race and will help influence and make the Banu Merchantman a reality. End of next year sometime is what I would expect. The Herald is a surprising installation. Do you mean Herald? Was it discussed on how it has an advantage as a data runner, or can it just hold more? It's got, yeah, so it'll be able to hold a lot of data because it's got data banks and the correct sort of like data holding rig or whatever for it. But it is supposed to be fast in a straight line. I suspect it will get a bit of a tweak, a bit of more balance for its intended use in the future. And that's a good point as well. As Ash says, the Banu Merchantman isn't planned to be worked on until the Carrack is done anyway. So after the Carrack's done in 3.8, they will should be looking at the Banu Merchantman in a bit more earnestly. Hi board, with servers being pushed beyond their usable limits now, will CIG be lowering the server player count to compensate? It's unbearable. Yeah, so I don't know. I would be okay with them lowering it to 40. Or fixing the problem in the short term. I think they need to do something like that. So there's a current issue, Dark Shadow and general people. Servers degrade very quickly once they get to around 45 players. It can be pretty bad for some people. I haven't actually experienced that personally. I've only been watching other people experience it and reading about it on Reddit, but I've seen a lot of videos of that happening. You taught us the Imperial system. If we're monsters, it's because you're monsters. I didn't personally teach you the Imperial system, though. I use metric. Inches and yards, right? Are there any reworks in plan for any Vandal Spear ships or a possible sale for those ships at some point? There'll be a sale for them at some point. So I know they've done a lot of little tweaks to Vandal ships. I believe they're bringing the current Vandal ships up to spec or already have, but haven't shown us yet or something like that. I was talking to some people about that and they said, yeah, expect a similar rework or a similar look to the blade for the rest of the Vandal. And I was like, oh, cool. But that wasn't actually done by, I wasn't talking to a ship artist or designer there. So, citation needed. Hi board, that problem with quantum travel UI that stops working if you leave the seat during quantum travel is In your opinion, is that tied to the update plan for the future release or just a bug? I suspect that's just a bug. Yeah? Hey, Board, when do you think shipjacking will really take off? Well, I talked to Luke about there being scrapyards and stuff like that. There's going to be a black market in 3.6. There's going to be more reasons to steal ships in 3.6, I believe. So potentially in 3.6, we need that law system. We need places to sell those ships. We need places to break those ships down. And scrap and junk cards have been talked about now. I'm not sure if those scrap and junk cards were for 3.6 though. I mean, they could be 2 years out for all I know, but I'm suspecting that's 3.6 is when we're going to start to see more for that. Do you feel like we're getting better quality info transparency with new media approach CIG is taking? Is the new media approach that different? They gave us less information for a good period of time. They take it away, calling all devs, and they've only just started getting back into the swing with Inside Star Citizen. So in this, maybe with what they've just started releasing again. So I like the fact they're releasing their financials. Hopefully they'll continue to do that every year. I thought it was madness to start with, but I actually quite like it now. It means that a lot of more trolly media outlets and people that were quite aggressive advocates the game was a scam have shut the fuck up, which is fantastic. But I like what they've got transparency-wise. I love it when devs take to Spectrum and forums or events like BritizenCon and chat and answer questions. That is superb. More of that, please. I'm hoping we get more. I like their approach. I'm hoping we get more videos, more media, and I'm hoping we get more of the same. But the general transparency is pretty good. Better than any other game is. When do I think we're hearing more info about the Polaris or even start production? Not 100% sure. I suspect we will start to see more and more on the Polaris towards the end of this year. Do your headphones smell like Up Dog? He wants me to say what's up, dog, which I just said. Haha, just messing with you. Here's the real question. Any news on when CIG are fixing the Area 18 hangars? So, what specifically are you having a problem with, Erebus? Because I had my problems with them fixed, with that hotfix recently. Are you still having your ship sink through the floor or not being able to leave? Any discussion on the ship finish color options and the ETA on the variants? I've already talked about that a few minutes ago. Yeah, it's only when the player count's high that they have the problems. 45 plus players typically when I see it, or from what I gather from watching other people's videos on it. Do you know if loner ships will change at any point? Yes, there's a loner matrix, they change. Here's the loner matrix for you again. Also on the top of my website. Do I think the 890 jump will make it in 3.6 board? Yeah. I think it's sort of like one of the core pieces of 3.6 to make people happy with it. They could take away a load of 3.6. So it's got the 890 jump, people would be happy. Was there any discussion on the previously mentioned interaction between the Banu Merchantman and Defender? No, they haven't really talked about it. The most recent thing is they said is they're not ready to talk about the interaction between them. But there is interactivity between the Banu Merchantman and the Defender specifically. I'm assuming it's some ability to either semi-dock with it so that you can use its quantum travel, or that it has some sort of light rearm, refuel and repair, or something like that. Any planetary cloud tech info? If I asked about anything? No. Literally nothing, not even in my secret notes. Did they ever mention the Valkyrie having a combat search and rescue variant? No, they didn't. However, that's potentially something you could use it for. Doesn't necessarily need a variant for you to fit it out so that it has that sort of functionality. And who knows what modularity it will have in the future. I mean, even if it's just literally furniture and props and stuff that you put inside to make it better. I suppose you'd want like a vehicle inside that had a med bay or something, wouldn't you? You'd want like something that you could get like at least a tier 3 mid bay. So maybe there's a vehicle that'll fit in it in the future. I appreciate you talking about anxiety. I don't get it too bad these days, but it helps knowing I'm not alone. But also, I feel sorry that you're going through it at the moment, and wish you the best. Thank you very much, Philip, Mr. Jordan. I appreciate that, but I think people go through a lot worse than I do. I'm happy to talk about it. I don't feel ashamed by it. It's a bit annoying sometimes. It affects my productivity at work, and it makes me feel like I'm going to die. Sometimes it makes me go like, oh, it's only very brief, and it's like really, really sort of like panic attacky. It's a bit of an exaggeration. It makes me feel like I'm going to die. No, it's just it's sometimes it feels very briefly unbearable, but it always is bearable. Do you know if the Vandal have females or a queen, or are they asexual and hatch from eggs? I don't actually know. I will find out a load of the Vandal lore and do a video on it at some point soon. Assuming that Vandal women and children are just kept separate from any of their military stuff. Any update on the Titan suits? Nope. Not beyond, I believe they're planned at the moment for, what, 3.7? 3.8. I can't remember if it's 3.7 or 3.8. Gameplay. Characters. Locations. 3.8? 3.8. I don't want to know who Eddie Parr is. I want to know where... Well, I don't know. It's 3.7 or 3.8, I believe. Oh, no, it's not. It's on the Squadron. Oh, I'm an idiot. What am I talking about? So we don't know when the Titan suits are coming to the persistent universe. We know that they're going to be made for Squadron 42 by the end of Q3. I'm having a look here again. Q4. So they're planned for Squadron 42 by the end of Q4 this year. That's why it seemed it was 3.7 or 3.8 for some reason. But yeah, so don't know when they're coming to the persistent universe. Maybe see something at BritizenCon, maybe see something towards the end of the year. Maybe they'll be flyable, drivable, rideable, mechable at the end of this year. But Squadron 42, they're planned to be ready for that end of Q4. Apologies for any confusion. When do you think the ship in ship or vehicle in ship? What do you mean, when do I think? It's planned for 3.8 at the moment. Ship-to-ship docking, ship-in-ship docking, all that sort of jazz. Is the Razor atmospheric flight behavior bugged or way too strong? So they are working on the hover mode and the atmospheric tuning for all of the ships and vehicles at the moment. I expect much better results than 3.6. Any information on land claims or hangar buildings? Not at the moment. They did want to have it in last year, sort of land claim gameplay. They started working on it, but obviously they reprioritized a load of stuff. I would expect it potentially next year to see more physicalized locations and land claim stuff. Do you think the new flight model shipjacking has become harder to do since, from my perspective, it seems to lead to completely destroying ships instead of disabling them? Ships will be, at some point very soon, having physicalized components and not have health pools. So the ship itself won't have a health pool. It will be typically time to disable a ship rather than destroy it. So then it becomes a lot easier to shipjack and to rob ships and things like that. Vanguard, any discussions on what exterior hardpoint changes are potentially being included to the current Vanguard rework? Or will the hoplite be able to use bucks? I believe the bucks, the idea of it is that you'll get the loadout so that you can change them between ships. I believe, not 100% sure on that. They need to make another statement on bucks after the Vanguard rework to make stuff official. I would expect the Vanguard reworks to also have loadout changes. But beyond that, I have no real idea. After the first solar system is complete, do you think the rest of the systems planned will be created more quickly? More quickly than not being created? Yes. So them getting their pipeline super efficient at the moment literally means they can produce content quicker than they can get it out, because server meshing and a few other things have sort of like blocked the progress of getting more into the current system, and to having other systems. So bear that in mind. I believe it took 2 people 2 months to make ArcCorp, which is obviously a big thing. So they could potentially generate loads of systems pretty quickly. They are getting better and better with their generation of cities and planets and things. It's only really cities, hero assets, and some of those important points of interest that are going to take a lot of time to do. The rest of the stuff will be handled largely by procedural generation and previously assisted techniques. Blood Purple 100. What? I don't catch your streams much. Today is thanks to taking some time off to deal with anxiety issues. Misery loves company. Lol. Trouble Magnet, thank you very much for the bits. And I'm very sorry that you suffer from anxiety. I think everyone does to an extent, but it's obviously sometimes for some people it is just unfairly just, now I'm going to disable you. Now you can't think about anything else. Now you can't even have fun. And apologies for anyone that thinks I overly trivialize mental health issues, but you know, I'm bipolar. I suffer from anxiety. It is what it is. People have it a lot worse than I do, is the main thing. And I always know I'm going to be better, even when I'm at my worst. Great thing to know. Hey Bored, do you think it's possible we'll see a larger ship focused on tractor beam gameplay, like the bigger brother to the SRB? Oh, I think we'll see some tractor beams for potentially capital-sized mounts, maybe? And that could be a thing in the future. Or do you think we're relatively limited in size and power because of the attempt to curtail griefing? I don't think you'll be able to grief much with tractor beams. I think if you've got shields up, it'll be near impossible to tractor beam someone. Why not all this month's subflare is off the top of your head? Well, this month's was the legs, the rust suit. You're talking about next month's, like tomorrow's. There'll be another part of the rust suit. What are you most looking forward to the roadmap? On the roadmap on 2019? Oh man. I don't know. I mean, it was the new flight model, but obviously it needs tweaking still. Ship rentals are pretty fucking big for 3.6. I actually think that will make a lot of people play the game more. Any of the new locations. So I suppose that's Microtech this year. Salvage. Salvage is huge. Physicalized inventories is pretty big. Those salvage is probably more exciting to me. Will Area 18 be updated with more area to play around? Yes, it should expand its area out somewhat. Whether that's going to be buildings nearby you can land on, and some more mission-y type stuff there, and some more tweaks to it. But I expect that you will also get a larger area there. The buildings will have function there, things like that. I don't actually know who builds the Titan suits in game. Have real elevators been scrapped? Not bugged about it. Just can't remember hearing an official statement on it. So they talked about elevators in game. So they're going to have physicalized elevators where it is sensible, partly physicalized elevators where it's sensible, and teleporting elevators where it is sensible. It's literally going to be based on what is the most sensible solution for this elevator in this situation, and general transportation, like elevator-like devices, lift-type devices. So if you're in a hab unit or a hangar or something that you can't see the elevator, then they might as well just have it as a teleporter because it's much more resource efficient. Yeah? But if you can see the elevator at any point, or it makes sense for them to physicalize them, they will physicalize them. That is the plan. Someone just sent me $50. Great videos as always. Have some cash for loads of entertainment you provide. Thank you very much. Oh, Ash, I love you. I knew I said I love you, and I knew there was a reason. It's because you throw money at me. Mwah. Oh, you legend. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. I'm going to put that towards my BritizenCon stuff. I'm planning on getting some stuff together for BritizenCon. I've got a camera and stuff now, so I can probably do interviews and stuff there pretty well. Zin should hopefully be able to run the channel while I'm gone for the day, because I want to get stuff up pretty quickly. That might have me quickly reading over a summary of something. I don't know. There's always an odd thing in my mind that do you go to BritizenCon or not if you're trying to cover it. But how far do you think CIG will go with expanding cities to make space for us to own our own dwellings? I think they can expand them as far as they need to. They can have huge sections of the planet become hab areas if they want to. There might be planets and areas much more suited for habs as well, and I suspect there will be an economy for it where you can rent apartments, whatever, and that's have to be really expensive on planets where there's not that much room. I think they're going to be starting to look, Jaybird, at more ways of exploration and quantum traveling and putting markers out in the verse and going to interesting areas and just flying off into the distance. So don't be too disheartened by the current quantum travel mechanics. What else we got? Where's the roadmap for Q2 2020 added? I suspect in June, probably. Actually, it will be July, almost certainly. After 3.6 is released. When building a PC, what is a must for Star Citizen, other than SSD? Solid graphics card, 16 gigs of RAM at least, 4th gen i7 or onwards. But you can get away with a lower end processor, as long as they're reasonably powerful core wise, or an older processor, what I should say, rather than lower end. Really, I'd be looking at getting a 1080 Ti, or at least a 1070 for your graphics card. Any info on stealing ships and keeping them? So, as I said earlier, there was very brief talks about scrapyards and junkyards, and that having some sort of gameplay in the future where players will be able to sell ships or destroy ships and salvage ships or whatever that they've stolen. Obviously, the salvage gameplay might lead into that as well. There's some black market economy stuff coming in 3.6, so potentially from 3.6 onwards, some more interesting stealing of ships. Yep, they need to fix loads of little bugs with Area 18 and generally 3.5. I'm hoping that they're doing some server maintenance at the moment. Hoping we should see some hot fixes. I'm hoping we see a 3.5.1 patch to fix a load of the stuff. Is that the face behind the voice, Keith? Yes, I'm the thinking man's potato. This is my beautiful face. You missed my question. Well, maybe I didn't see it, mate. Lol. In case you are not, what would be something you would want them to add to bring you back as a sub? I probably will sub for $10 again. I know they're going to be working on a new system for subs and getting some extra little bits to encourage them. I'm very happy with Inside Star Citizen, their new ATV replacement. I think it was ATV and potentially a little bit better. It was very well segmented. It was good informationally. I want them really, I want calling all devs or something else. I need at least 3 shows a week. I'm okay with Reverse the Verse or Star Citizen Live. Yeah, as long as they answer some questions throughout, great. Yeah, we need an ATV type show. Great, Inside Star Citizen looks good for that. I want some short form questions answered. Calling all devs is great for that. I would also be happy with like a ship shape type thing, a design document type thing where they look at very specific design documents for plans for micro attack, plans for each of the individual gameplay mechanics they've got. So science, farming, all that sort of stuff. Their current thoughts for it. Because then the community gets more interactive with those ideas and starts suggesting things and says, oh no, I don't like that, or yes, I do like that, or do you think this would be cool? And then they can grab ideas from that in the future when they do come to work with it. I do also look like an egg at some angles. This is true. I have a Warthog. Do you think HOTAS are redundant because of the new flight model? The flight model is not finished yet, and it is certainly not great for HOTAS at the moment, but give it some time. Hey, Board, do you have any info on the Cutlass Blue? Is this the military or militia-bound bounty hunter ship? So originally the Cutlass Blue, we know, was sort of like supposed to be a military, militia police type vehicle cruiser, with lots of cells in the back. We don't know how its rework's going to affect it though. Should be better for combat though. More armor, better weapons stock. Do you think there's any chance that we will see drones on the Reclaimer being functional, or a first iteration of them when salvage is added later this year? There's a potential for it. I suspect drones are being worked on to an extent for Squadron 42. I'm not sure if we'll see them in the Persistent Universe ASAP, but there's a potential. Do you think they need to focus on all the crash issues before making further progress, or just accept the patch is porked and have people wait for 3.6? I think they should at least try and fix the branch to an extent. Indeed fixable. I mean, even if it's just reducing the player cap in the short term. We know that they need server-side entertainer streaming. We know that they need server meshing. We know that they need so many things to get more gameplay area in there, to get more players in there, to get a lot of stuff working. The servers cannot support the giant gameplay area they've got with loads of players on it at the moment. There's lots of problems with AI because of that and things like that. So, how can you do package delivery missions on Area 18 when the boxes fall out of your hands on the tram before you can finish the mission? That isn't ideal. Try not to do box delivery missions at Area 18 at the moment. I know that's a shitty workaround, but in general, there is a aiming bug with all ships at some point, and aim deconverging. I don't think it's just exclusive to the Glaive, though the Glaive might have a more pronounced problem. Haven't used a Glaive in 3.5. Any news on when we can hire NPCs? No. Lots of NPC tech needs to be done before that, though. Not any time this year. Potentially, we could start looking at it next year, sort of thing. Do we have any recent updates on when the HUD and UI readability and customizations is coming? No, they are reworking a load of the HUD stuff and the UI stuff and making them better. I know that. I'm just not sure when it's coming. I'm very interested in this as being red, green, colorblind. I hope they put a colorblind mode in as well. That's for G's colorblind. All ships with red themes are unusable in combat for me. So hopefully they'll allow us to do that in the not too distant future. I know they're reworking all the HUDs and UI assets. I know there's lots of stuff they can do for them, and they can expose the functionality. We've actually seen Moby glasses have customization quite early on in their conception. So, hey Board, long-time subscriber. I was wondering if you've heard of any orgs such as Eve's Eve Academy. I think it would be a great org to mirror in Star Citizen. Yeah, I need to start looking at some of the stuff that Eve does, because I do want to literally copy some of it. It does some very good things right. Any reason to know that the RSI website is down. Yes, they are doing giant server maintenance for the next hour or so. Without server meshing, this game will fail. Without server meshing or something similar, this game will fail. Yes, 100%. Filmmaker. Well, they'd have to rethink it all. Probably wouldn't fail, but it would not be the game that most of us want or are expecting anymore. Do you know what I mean? Squadron 42 certainly doesn't need server meshing, but we do. You know, to play the game. They're pretty confident about server meshing, though, talking about loads of different people, and Derek Senior especially. He's like, yeah, we know what we're doing for it. We've got plans. We're doing it. So like piecemeal. Some of that will come to the players. Some of those server optimizations. Some of them are prerequisites of it. Some of it are just part of server meshing. There's problems at the moment that they want 30 ticks per server for Star Citizen. That's their target. That's what they want. It's sort of like sustained at. And at the moment, server ticks can go as low as 10, which is fucking terrible. Yes. Any more questiones about anything? I really enjoyed BritizenCon. I thought it was a damn good thingamajig. Damn good piece of thingy. So there's some stuff that I would do better for BritizenCon. I mean, I'm quite finance-minded. So stuff like they had a raffle there. It was £5 a raffle ticket. That's far too expensive for a raffle. Prizes weren't amazing. There was an amazing prize, which was a canvas from the office signed from the Winslow office wall of amazing scenic. And I was like, oh my God, that's really cool. But a lot of the other prizes weren't necessarily amazing. I would like to see more prizes, and I'd like to see an auction instead. And then we get some interesting, silly things done. Like that. Maybe combine with the French community and Spanish community and German community and stuff, and do a larger event altogether, because BritizenCon gets a huge amount of devs, but it doesn't get a huge amount of fans turning up for whatever reason. I think Con 42 last year had like 500 attendees and just Brian Chambers as a dev. It's just weird. I didn't get drunk at BritizenCon. I did drink throughout the day. I'm pretty, as long as I'm, not just constantly necking them back, I'm fine. I just stuck to cider. It's good. It's a good laugh. I was merry. It was great meeting you as well. The people here that I met. I don't care about the green screen. What's wrong with it? Is it my head getting shiny? You finally catch one of my live streams. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss. Any update on the lawsuit? Sorry if this was answered, and thank you for the time. Cheers. So I haven't had anything more beyond the current stuff about Crytek and Star Citizen. I will check it out, see if there's been any more updates, but I don't think there has been for a while. It looked like CIG and Crytek were both posturing for a small settlement, but that is just my opinion based on not knowing everything. And you can only really be opinion based at the moment. A lot of stuff for Crytek has been dismissed now, though, so it's not really focusing on any of the major points that they previously had, which is great for Star Citizen, but they could still be costly for them to go through discovery. I'm not like talking like game destroying costly, but it's more costly than they'd want to if they didn't have to. So settlement is very possible. Conversely, Crytek might not want the possibility of CIG winning, because then they'd be liable for all of CIG's costs, which isn't ideal for them. And there's a very strong possibility that CIG may win everything. So I'm all right, thanks. I'm going to jump off in a minute and grab some food, grab a drink, and just have a snooze, I think. I am absolutely exhausted from travelling and just only being anxious recently. Feel a lot better today, though. Yeah, so the RSI website's down. The Star Citizen servers may very well be down as well. There's server maintenance going on for the next hour or so, just so you know. Hopefully, going to see some hot fixes. Oh, today is also the last day you can use $0 CCUs. If you have any $0 CCUs on your account that you want to apply, make sure you apply them now. Because after today, they've gone. They're getting deleted. Any news on when group party multi-crew mechanics will be implemented? So they're working on more and more group functionality now. They have a plan for a patch this year. They didn't actually specify exactly when. It was implied that it would be 3.6 or 3.7. I suspect that it's this year, for the ability of a group leader to be able to see all the quests that everyone is on, be able to share that quest, and the group to be able to do that quest together, and share like mission rewards and stuff. We don't know that for 100% sure it's going to be this year, but it was heavily implied when I was talking to someone about it at BritizenCon. So Squadron 42 worth it? I suspect it'll be very worth it. I'm very much looking forward to Squadron 42 episode 1 now. It's going to be the first true product that's polished that CIG put out, and it will be a, hopefully, torch in the fucking dark of night compared to the rest of the shitty games I've had to play over the last 5 years. There's some okay diamonds in there. I love my Phase 2 narrator gaming, thank you. Appreciated. Bored, go enjoy the day, mates. Have dinner and chill. We love you, buddy. Yeah, I'm going to jump off now and go and have some food and munchies. I'm going to start playing some gameplay during the day on stream. So I will be in my Discord for that. People are more than welcome to join in with some of that. I love your faces. Out of curiosity, why don't you live stream Star Citizen more often? I.e. Rexilla. I will. I will start doing that, Bruce. I just need to start getting into the swing of it. I was planning to have Zin employed by now, so that I'd be streaming much more regularly and we'd have some sort of like organised events done regularly. Quite low effort stuff, but like Hunger Games things, some of the stuff that Rexilla does to an extent. I'm not going to directly copy him, but I want to do some Star Citizen gameplay, some of which will be sandbox type gameplay. And I will start doing that more and more. Servers are down for Star Citizen at the moment. The website should be down. They're doing some server maintenance. They do want to have animals in the game, and they do want to have the sandworm and things like that in there. We just don't know when that's coming. That was on Layer 3, and we don't have the list system at the moment. Yeah, I do need to, I will try out meditation and some other techniques. I'm pretty good at rewiring my brain. Who's won this month? I haven't chosen yet. I haven't gone through the process. And so what happens is I get a program that takes all the comments out of my videos. It will randomly pick a video and then sort of like number the comments. Anyone with the same names just sort of like collapsed into a single comment. So it just basically then just takes the names and then it rolls a random number. It's pretty fucking simple. It's all Excel based. So this month's, so what will be chosen tomorrow probably, is for a Corsair. Next month's, so May's, I believe, is a Corsair as well. I think we've got something a bit bigger for June, a bit more exciting. But the Corsairs are pretty good, right? Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate the support. Oh, Hannah, thank you very much for the resub. Very much appreciated. I appreciate all the super chats, the money that's been chucked at me, the bits, and the donations. Some people have gone into Patreon as well, I can see. So thank you very much for that. Loads of subscribers. So thank you. Very much appreciated. If you've got anything you want to talk to me about, you want me to cover a particular topic, you want to say hi, whatever, you can get me on my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer, or contact@boredgamer.co.uk. If you want to say hi or whatever, I'm pretty easy to approach. I'm fine to try and answer your questions. The worst that will happen is that I'll be too busy to answer your question, and eventually I will go and I will reply to you and go, oh, sorry, I've only just seen this, which happens quite a lot. Let us see who else is around, and we will go and host them, or at least signpost you to their channel. But Ned Show and Tell, we've got the Dark Lord. Do I know who the Dark Lord is?
This is food freedom.
No, bad.
The freedom to order the same thing every Saturday.
No. Okay. This guy. Right. We're gonna send you to Oddballs, who I don't know who they are, but they're Scottish space rookie. I'm gonna give them some love. Bam. You may be able to win Christopher Baxter. It's very unlikely, but it's a possibility. Thank you very much for all the love. Very much appreciated, guys. Genuinely. I'm going to follow this guy. I'm going to send you his way. You take care. I'll getting some more videos up ASAP. And I love your faces. Peace.